Okay, class, today we're going to be talking about furries, the misunderstood diverse culture. My name is Max Evans, and I will be your instructor for this presentation for English 300 Introduction to Professional and Technical Writing on this 21st day of November 2023.
Double takes downtown Pittsburgh this weekend, Janelle. Yeah, there are a lot of business suits and people going to work. And then you see folks like this. Yes, the furries have arrived.
Folks who have never seen it before, don't be scared. If you see a 6-foot tall raccoon walking by your window, no, you're not going crazy. It's just us.
A lot of people might ask, why is it so popular? What's the draw here?
Everybody loves animals. Everybody loves costumes. We are all about creativity. We are all about imagination. We are all about dreaming. This weekend is our chance to say to the people of Pittsburgh, we want to share our dreams with you.
So our overview today, why do people choose to be a furry? Why do people claim that furries are sexual deviants? How is the community safe? Some personal experiences of mine, and what can being a furry today teach us? So first of all, what is all this? Furries are a misunderstood culture because we are misrepresented by the media as deviant. However, learning more about the fandom will only help the community not be misunderstood. Everybody has the ability and right to dream, the right to be creative, and the right to live your own life. There are endless possibilities. But what's out there? Why do people turn to the fandom for support? This fandom since the 1980s has faced ridicule, claiming that the furries are nothing more than a bunch of sexual deviants and perverts. But is that true? And just what is a furry anyway? In this research paper, we will find out why people will turn to the furry fandom, why other people perceive the fandom as nothing more but fetishes and sexual demons. But what is the fandom truly about? Why do people choose to become a furry? Being a furry can stem from a lot of different reasons. You could have Native American descent or be a Wiccan, such as myself, and believe in animal totems or spirits. You could have an affinity for wolves or dogs, like me growing up watching cartoons with talking animals and never really grew out of it, like Paw Patrol or Looney Tunes growing up as a kid. One of the questions I asked this person, Dr. Samuel Conway, how would you explain to someone who is not associated with the fandom or is new to the fandom what furry is? His answer was rather intriguing and interesting, no doubt. I give long presentations dedicated to that question. People outside the community don't know what furry is. That is our word. But you don't want to make someone who is curious feel dumb. You describe it in terms that people can understand. So, what is all this? It is a cartoon animal convention. On the right, you'll see Dr. Samuel Conway in these science coats as my character is talking with him. Another question asks, the fandom since the 1980s has faced ridicule, claiming that the furries are nothing more but a bunch of sexual deviants and perverts. Do you think those statements are over the top, and why? His answer was rather straight down to earth. Of course, absolutely, these statements are over the top. First off, when that word all comes in, furries are all. The second you throw that word in, the discussion is finished because you don't have sufficient data set to say all these people are that. You saw 3 or 4, and now you are drawing a conclusion. Why do people claim furries are sexual deviants? Well, we're taking a look at one of the famous quotes from CSI, Furry Loathing. People like Dr. Phil, Entourage, 30s Rock, all have claimed that they put in these sexual deviants and made them sexualized, but that's not truly what this fandom is about. They see what's in the media, and that's all they focus on. But that's not all what it is. So how is the community safe? The fact that furries are not sexual deviants, but more like an activist for the group things in our lives. Vice.com had a good article about furry community become a safe place for youth, such as one person did an interview of a mother of a young furry where her daughter was a furry, but she was having nothing want to do with it. But they got through the misconceptions that the media puts out about furries, that they think, oh, furries are just nothing but sexual deviants. No, we are not. There's a lot more to that than people realize. A couple of personal personas that I have. Daxter Snowfall, face there on the right, was the first persona that I created back in 2008. He's a wolf with blue and black white fur, green mohawk. I took after mostly the Kentucky Wildcats colors of blue, white, and black. He has a younger brother named Maximus. Just happens to be Daxter's younger brother. He is a black and gray furred wolf. As you can tell in that picture, he is pretty scarred up. He has a personal self-infliction condition. But I took Maximus from the Goofy movies that I was heavily in love with as a kid and followed with that. So Max, with his life struggles, I gained that name in high school. So what's the deal with furries? What can they teach us? Furry in psychology today answers the question, what can they teach us? There's conceptions about furries with the media articles routinely mischaracterizing them as fetishists or psychologically dysfunctional people. One other misconception there's about furries that people often believe themselves to be an actual animal. That could be partially true, especially with one who is Native American, Wiccan, or other kin, one who believes that they can transform into an animal. Like the natives wore animal skins and they believed they were animals to give them strength. So my conclusion today, we see how furries really are. We see how the media portrays furries in a negative light and see how furries actually live their lives and see that our fandom is not all bad in any form or fashion. Furries are the best thing that happened to the world of ours, that people can come out and be themselves and live their life as they want to. So what is a furry and how does it relate to community? The furry is someone who wishes they feel like they belong in the community by any means necessary, shown in a positive light. Here is my list of resources. Thanks to Dr. Sam McCallway for a personal interview, WikiFur and CNN for Fur Science, and Kathleen Gerbasi, Dr. Terrence Gray, Dr. Gerbasi, and Hal Herzog. Hasu Kevin Kuwama for Uncle Kage's Who Are We clip from GLS 2015. Vice, Dr. Courtney Plant with Fur Science, and Rapsy Fiona.
You're asking the wrong question, sir. You shouldn't be asking who we are. You should ask who we were. We were the fat kid. We were the brainy kid. We were the bookish kid. We were the kid with the big, thick glasses. We were the kid concerned about his sexual identity. We were the kid who couldn't throw a baseball. We were the kid who, for whatever reason, furries and all the other kids said, "You don't belong with us." Now, human beings, as social animals, crave companionship. And denying companionship by our peers, we sought it out the next best place we could find it. Some of us looked to the stars, others to the far past of human history. We looked to the happy, smiling, accepting faces that we saw on the Saturday morning cartoons. Now, to answer your question, who are we? We are adults who never forgot our old friends.